After 12 years, Honda finally won a race. Yes, guys, Max Verstappen with Red Bull Racing Honda won the Austrian Grand Prix on Sunday. It was an unbelievable achievement. John was there to do our review. It's done really well, mind.
Brilliant, yeah.
And yes, Red Bull are finally on top. Max Verstappen takes his 6th wins in Austria. Charles Leclerc gets on the podium to make it the youngest 1-2 in the history of Formula One. And more importantly, as I've just said, Honda have won a race after 12 years. Now, McLaren will be kicking themselves. Fernando Alonso probably can't even watch to think, why did I waste so much time at McLaren Honda? And Max just comes in and absolutely walks it. But no, honestly, Max did an unbelievable effort. Now, yes, I've been away. John did the review. I was watching it and I was absolutely in awe. One of Max's best wins. All the Dutch fans was there. It was unbelievable to see Red Bull at the Red Bull Ring. And like I said in the preview show for Austria, you know, this is kind of a home race for Verstappen. It is definitely the home race of Red Bull, obviously based out of Salzburg in Austria. It was incredible. So in this episode, we've already done our Max applause. That was a review. Please go and check it out if you haven't already. Doing very, very well. One of our highest viewed videos. So obviously, thank you very much for watching out there. This episode is about Red Bull, but it's about the other driver at Red Bull. Now, it's about the driver at Red Bull who I'm actually wearing the top of today. Now, that's actually a very, very strange coincidence.
What a coincidence, Lyle.
It is. I ordered it for Silverstone. Because I'm like, I want to show Gasly some love.
Yeah,
I want to show the
someone
other drivers some love. You know, I was a bit of a Mark Webber fan. I was a lot of a Mark Webber fan. And I kind of was like, yeah, Seb's getting the attention at Red Bull when they were both at Red Bull. But I'm like, yeah, give Pierre, give the other guy some support. Something that I should have done for Danny Fiat. So as I just said, we're going to be talking about Pierre Gasly today in this episode. Now, currently in the 2019 stands, he sits with 43 points in P6. Now, at the Austrian Grand Prix, he finished in P7 when his teammate finished in P1. Obviously, he climbed an amazing mountain on Sunday after he made that abysmal start. Went into anti-stall, really fighting Charles Leclerc. Made that move where we might be talking about that later on, but yes, he really, really did deserve that win. Now, Max, really consistent. I think I called him Mr. Consistent in one of the preview shows that I did. Really, really great. Jordan says he's in contention for driver of the season, doing a great job. The Mercedes are running away with it. Well, every race but this one. Ferrari, it's slipping away. Red Bull are not really in the fight. Well, one driver isn't, but one driver is, and that is Max. You know, it's been third places, fourth places. Max has definitely been up there. It's a podium where the two Mercedes might be on there, but Max is always there, and he's doing a really, really good job. Now slipped into third place. Again, Lewis is running away with it. He might be able to catch Valtteri, but it's looking slim. But yes, Max Verstappen has now separated Sebastian Vettel from even being next to the Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. So he's doing a great job at Red Bull Racing, but the man who we're going to be talking about in this episode, Pierre Gasly, unfortunately is not. Now, Helmut Marko, or there's been a rumour that Helmut Marko, obviously the owner of Red Bull Racing, has come out and said that Pierre Gasly, he's looking at possibly replacing Pierre Gasly during this season. Now, for me, that sent alarm bells almost straight away, because as you know, we and me, obviously being a Red Bull fan, also Jordan, have big views on what happened in the trading places, between Danny Fiat and Max Verstappen. We even made a video about it in 2016. That was our highest video viewed, about 1,000 a long time ago.
Amateur
but we're definitely beyond that. Yes. The rumour that's come out that he might be replaced, but obviously it hasn't been confirmed, and this is kind of a bit of like a written one to Pierre Gasly. Okay, you need to really step up and achieve what you need to. Yeah. Now, the best result that Pierre Gasly has ever had is if he has claimed 2 fastest laps. I think he got one in China, and that was a strong fourth place by him. Not at the level of Max Verstappen, but as a Red Bull driver who's brand new into the team, had a good season at Toro Rosso. I think he was a leading driver over Brendan Hartley last year. He has stepped up to the plate, and in Red Bull's eyes, he hasn't achieved what they want, which basically is to, win races or, be on the podium, be next to Max, and basically be a supporting role for the Red Bull team. Now, that might be Red Bull's views, but what about our views? Well, my personal view is I'm a fan of Pierre Gasly. Yeah. When he came into Red Bull, I thought, okay, he's a good, strong driver. He has a lot of backing, he has a lot of support. He had a good season at Toro Rosso. I think that was his first year at Toro Rosso. He showed a lot of promise. He showed a lot of yeah, he was a good figure to have in Formula One, and I thought he would do very, very well. Now, it was a very slow start of the season. We did mention Pierre Gasly really needed to step up his game, but at the moment we're heading into round 10, and yeah, to be in that position, I mean, sixth place, it isn't terrible,
No.
but to be in that position,
No.
maybe it's not the best for Red Bull. So they've had their views. I do think he is a good driver. Jordan, just bringing you quickly into this,
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly, just do you think that he is a good driver? Do you think he's Red Bull worthy? Forgetting what they have said, forgetting what the guys of Austria
Yeah.
and Milton Keynes have said, do you think that he's a good driver?
I do think he is a good driver. I think there is the ability and the speed in there somewhere. He did show that at Toro Rosso. He did a very good job there. Let's not forget. Coming into Red Bull, was the pressure onto him? Maybe. I'm not too sure. I'll let you guys discuss that one. I don't know about pressure, but yeah, he was coming into Red Bull, like kind of a reborn. Pretty much like all the drivers these days in the Red Bull category, kind of like coming in reborn again, if you like, reborn from the ashes. Almost after Red Bull kicks them out, then brings them back in all of a sudden. So, once upon a time, we all thought Pierre Gasly's chance of Formula One had gone. They competed in Super Formula and then came into Toro Rosso, and then all was good. And like life hasn't been good at Red Bull so far, has it? Like Red Bull Helmut Marko did say that they got Pierre Gasly in a season earlier than what they hoped for because of Dan Ricciardo's surprise move going to Renault. We all know that. We've said that a million times now. We all know the story. But what confuses me is that Red Bull did say this, yet they're already putting pressure on Pierre Gasly. But Red Bull should really be understanding that Gasly doesn't have the raw speed or the ability or to be able to handle the pressure yet. If they thought that he wasn't ready for the seat last season, for this season, so therefore he shouldn't be ready until next season. So give him a season to see how he does and give him time to develop. Now, if he continues this form in the next season, then we should probably question his future. But after 9 races, no, not really. I think he should. Yeah, it is embarrassing to say that you've been lapped by your teammate when he's winning the Grand Prix. That is embarrassing, and his results could be a lot better. I get that. But it's like I said, he's only had 9 races, and apparently the car doesn't suit his style of driving in that. So whether the team needs to alter his car, or Gasly needs to alter his style, he needs to change his approach. He needs to change his mentality in a way so that he is delivering the results. Maybe not so much being a part of Verstappen. We're not expecting that. We're just expecting him to be knocking on the door for podiums and stuff. That's where Red Bull want him to be.
Support. I think Red Bull. I think they would be happy. It's very much like what we said about Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah.
A long time ago, obviously not now, because Valtteri has won races and he's second in the championship.
Exactly.
But in the old style Valtteri, or the 2018 Valtteri, we said that if he wasn't winning races, that was kind of, it's not fine, but Mercedes would be happy with that because he was supporting the team. He was getting them points, he was getting them, as he said, podiums, or he was knocking on the door for podiums, and he was supporting their other driver, which was Lewis Hamilton. So if Pierre was not going to get a win, I don't think Red Bull would not want him to win. But if Pierre could support the team a bit more, get them points and get them podiums and things like that, then I think then he would be like a 2018 Valtteri, and the team would be really happy to do that. But to see because the two Mercedes drivers, they're both kind of on the podium. The two Ferrari drivers are, I don't want. They're very consistent when they do. I mean, Charles Leclerc, is on the podium more than Sebastian Vettel at this point. He's had 2 pole positions. He's going a lot better. He's going a lot stronger. But normally they're very consistent. So Mercedes, both drivers are quite consistent.
Yeah.
So is Ferrari in terms of points and where they are finishing races and where they are in the standings. And then there's a massive gap between Max, who's in 3rd place, and Pierre, who's all the way down in 6th. So it is a big gap that. I think Red Bull, they're scared that that's going to kind of open, it's going to widen, and then the team's going to be kind of left with the arms stretched out between do we support Max, who's out there in 3rd place, who's fighting for podiums, or do we support or even hang on to Pierre Gasly, who's fallen down the order. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think like there's people in the way. You know, it's like maybe there's a racing point or something. There's people in the way that he's at the the theoretical third best team in Formula One, so he should be higher up the grid. He should be higher.
He should
up
be
the
getting
standings.
They should be getting more points because I'm pretty sure that like Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, Mateschitz, and everyone will be kicking themselves because they could be challenging for second place because Ferrari have not had a good season so far. And in my opinion, if you had Ricciardo in that car, then I believe that the races where Ferrari were down and Red Bull were better, Ricciardo could have beaten not one but both of the Ferraris, and therefore Red Bull might not be in second place, but they might be like 10 or 15 points away from second place. And that's when they'll be like, that's why they're probably like so frustrated because like, oh Gasly, if you were a bit quicker, you might have beaten Vettel, or you could be beating Leclerc or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's what they'll be getting frustrated about. But everyone deals with pressure differently because coming in from Toro Rosso to Red Bull, it's a big change. And I know it's the same kind of team, but it's a big change going from the back of the grid where, all right, you can do risks, you can do whatever because nobody cares. You know Toro Rosso aren't going to get wins, but at Red Bull they can win, like Max was showing. So therefore, but I would say there's more pressure on Gasly now because they'll be going, right, well, Max can win, so therefore you can win. So,
yeah,
so obviously Pierre will be like, oh no, Max, what have you done? But like, yeah, so there is a lot more, there is pressure, like especially on Gasly. He might be putting a bit too much pressure on himself, and like Christian Horner said in his statement about Pierre Gasly, basically scrapping the whole idea of replacing him during the course of this season. But he has pretty much said, all right, you need to improve your results. Gasly already knows this, and he's like, I think he quoted a Control Alt Delete in Gasly's mind. And like start again, start from fresh.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work, I think maybe not this season, but let's say next season, and it still doesn't work. Maybe not getting rid of him entirely, but giving him a year on the sidelines because it's done Danny Kvyat a world of good. He's doing some good results, which I'm impressed with.
It is, but it still looked like it really hurt him because with Danny Kvyat, I mean, we don't really know like the ins and the outs, but there was a story in 2016, like about midway, so obviously he'd come from Red Bull and he was kind of suffering that kind of like, why me? And he was feeling, a little bit down on himself.
Oh yeah.
And that could happen. That could happen to Pierre Gasly.
But I think Gasly's results are worthy of him being demoted. Like if they turn around tomorrow and said, okay, we'll replace Gasly with Albon's, let's say, I'll be like, oh. Okay, I'll be obviously like I said before. I'll be annoyed, but I'll be like, okay, that's understandable. But when Danny Kvyat got replaced by Verstappen, we were all like, what? Really?
Danny Kvyat had just podiumed in
China.
Exactly.
He had a podium that season. He just had two crashes, and then he was demoted. He beat Ricciardo in 2015.
He did, yeah.
So we were all like,
I remember
what?
The best race I think was the 2015 Hungarian Grand Prix when they both were on the podium. They both supported each other, and it was kind of like it was really the first kind of redemption that Red Bull saw after Multi 21. It was like
the car in 2015 was just a wreck. It was rubbish. Fifth place to finish, didn't it? Or was it fourth? I think it was fourth actually. I think Williams was third, then they were fourth. Yeah, that was abysmal. Coming off the back of 3 wins in 2014. So I thought Daniel did a decent job getting demoted. That was definitely in favour for Max. Definitely.
It was, yeah.
Because
there was probably more on the sidelines than just him being a fast
Red Bull wanted Verstappen in that seat. And then, as Danny Kvyat went away, again, we don't know what exactly happened because Daniel's results didn't really help in Toro Rosso in 2016 and then again in 2017. He had his moments, but they weren't brilliant. And I think that still affected him, the fact that he didn't feel like he had the full backing of Red Bull themselves. So in Ferrari coming back, it has done the world of good, and this might do Pierre Gasly, the world of good, because there is talk of, as like you say, replacing him and everything like that. Like Red Bull said, they're not going to, but let's say if they do, let's say they do replace him with everyone's favourite driver at the moment, Daniel Kvyat. Again, let's say he gets another chance. What if they put him in that seat and he's still getting the same results as Gasly? Then what do they do? Do they replace? Do they switch them back? Because then you get loads of inconsistency where you're unsettling the team, you're unsettling the drivers, but not only that, you could be unsettling Verstappen because he's like, well, I don't know who I'm working with, I don't know who to communicate with because I don't trust anybody now because they could get another driver in, a random driver in next week. I don't know what's going on. So they can't really shuffle the pack. They have to, all right, it's not working out at the moment, but you have to trust and believe in what you've got and give it a chance. Not after 9 races. Like for me, Red Bull seem to be the equivalent of Chelsea Football Club. They just seem to be they bring a guy in and then all right, he wins them the league, but then the next season they do rubbish. All right, out, next one in, out, next one in. Like, whoa, what is all this consistency, guys? Like,
Yeah.
it's just madness. And I think Red Bull seem to be doing that. And I just hope that they do give Gasly a good enough chance to the point of where if he does get demoted, we go, all right, okay, fair enough. But for me, they need to give him a chance. They really, really do.
One thing you just said quickly there, John, just you said about the pressure that pressure Gasly was putting on himself. It's almost kind of like the pressure's coming from the top because of the. I mean, of course he will have seen what happened in 2016 when Danny Kvyat was the trading places thing. Danny came from Toro Rosso and then he went back to Toro Rosso. Pierre Gasly's already come from Toro Rosso, so it's like maybe he's actually kind of nervous, thinking like, oh my god, I'm halfway, I'm in Danny Kvyat's story almost, and the thing is that the pressure that he might be feeling is probably coming from people like Christian Horner and Dieter Mateschitz and
he would have been told.
Helmut Marko that they're putting on him. Also maybe, I don't want to say self-doubt because that sounds like really horrible, but like I think a lot of times, because Red Bull just seem to be, and we've said this a lot of times and I have as well, even though they're my team, they just seem to be a team that like their heads, they're screwed on a different way, whereas in like they don't really give like Valerie Bottas. He came out of the gates fighting. He won 3 races in 2017, and then it was quite slow for the rest of the season.
Yep.
It was very slow in 2018, and they were the constructors' winners. So like, why didn't they have any problems? Because Mercedes, that's what they do. They're there to help a driver. Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi Räikkönen wasn't winning races left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
He had one win in his second part of Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right at the end, he won in Austin 2018, but he came in the team in 2014. So 14, 15, 16, 17, he hadn't won a race. But like they didn't, they were they were quite calm about it. He was supporting the team, but they were like, let's give him just more chance. He doesn't have to settle in because he's already won the championship.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a different story. But they were giving them just each more chances. But with Red Bull now, especially, I think everyone who saw what happened to Danny Kvyat is now kind of on edge about that team. And if you're in it and your name isn't Max Verstappen, there's always going to be this kind of like worry about it.
Yeah.
About like, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? And I think Pierre Gasly, I think almost every day, every weekend, he must be thinking about, Danny, am I in the trading places story? Am I just they've just changed it from Russian to French, and I'm in this bubble. Am I going to be replaced like him, and am I going to go through the same process as Daniel Kvyat?
He'll be.
And like you said,
he will be reading the headlines. He will know what's been saying, what's been going on.
Yeah, and that won't help.
Yeah, like the articles and like people like us, like YouTubers who like do blogs and stuff. I'm pretty sure he'll be into all that. He will know people are talking about him. The pressure's been on it.
I'm pretty sure he's watching us right
now.
I
hope so. Hi Pierre. Big fans.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. See you in Silverstone, by the way. Give us a wave if you see us. And a picture. Obviously, don't be shy. Come and get a picture with us. We'll give you an autograph.
Yeah, we don't bite.
Exactly, we don't bite. But anyway, unless you haven't fed Lyle, and therefore you might bite. But anyways, what was I saying before that? I forgot what I was saying now. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, the thing I was going to mention is that another problem that really bugs me about Red Bull is that they overlook certain drivers. So when they employed Danny Kvyat to go to Red Bull, they overlooked Jean-Eric Vergne, who had been there for 3 seasons. And that was a bit like, that's a bit strange. Okay, Danny Kvyat after 1 season gets the big shot at Red Bull, and Jean-Eric Vergne doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't too sure. I wasn't fully aware of how Jean-Eric Vergne was doing at the time. His results might not be that good. He might have been very inconsistent. He might not have been like a very good communicator. There could be all sorts of reasons why, but I thought it was a bit strange. And then they did it again with when they brought Pierre Gasly into the team, which I thought, okay, Gasly's a good driver, but you've totally overlooked Carlos Sainz, who went from Toro Rosso to Renault on loan, and then totally dropped him completely to sign for McLaren.
Yeah.
Now, for me, Carlos Sainz is doing a very solid job at McLaren. And he's another driver that Red Bull should have not overlooked and should have had in that seat in the Red Bull, because I think Carlos Sainz could have been doing a really good job in that Red Bull, and he deserves a chance because he was at Toro Rosso for 2.5, 3 seasons. Then he switched to Renault at the end of 2017, and then had a full season in 2018. And if they do have another driver merry-go-round, I think, and to put another name in the Red Bull, replacing Pierre Gasly seat saga ring or whatever, another name in that hat would be Carlos Sainz, and I don't see why they should try and go. Let's give it a shot. But again, that's just game more inconsistency. But let's see how it goes. I just don't hope they don't. They don't touch Carlos Sainz.
But this, but as you said there, John, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Is that the mentality that Red Bull, as I said, the third best team, or the 4-time constructors champions? Is that the mentality that they want to do?
It shouldn't be.
Give it a shot.
It shouldn't be because they need to have the belief to go, right, this is our lineup, this is what we're going to do. Let's have a punt on Gasly, let's have a go on Albon or whatever. Like, I don't think Mercedes were like that. I don't think Mercedes were like, when Rosberg was were like, right, let's have a go on Bottas, let's see how it goes. No, they were like, right, they would have had 4 or 5 drivers in the line and going, right, okay, Bottas. It's almost like it's almost like situations in real life. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Bottas was managed by Bottas was managed by Bottas. Bottas was managed by Toto Wolff.
What a manager!
A bit like Esteban Ocon. That's why he's in the lineup, because he knows Toto Wolff. So again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. But obviously, it works differently in Red Bull, because really you kind of meet Helmut Marko going, "Oh, hi Mark, how you doing? Okay, go in that car, do your best. Don't do your best, out. I don't want to speak to you. I'm going to block your number, unfollow you from Twitter, whatever, out." Okay. And then, until he rings you up 2 years later going, "Oh, by the way, we've got no drivers in our academy. We need to, call you back up." And that's another problem as well, because they're younger, their junior program, they haven't got any drivers with a super license.
No.
Like, I think the closest one to do that, I don't know if you had one, or if he was close to getting one, was Dan Ticktum. Now, everyone's favourite driver.
And we all know where
everyone's favourite driver. He's just been recently kicked out of the programme, out of Super Formula, and replaced by, what's his name? Pato O'Ward, the IndyCar driver.
Something like that,
yeah. Coming into Formula 2 for a race. Then he's taken over Ticktum's place at Super Formula. Actually, I come to think about it, no, Ticktum didn't have a super licence because he went to Super Formula to get his super licence to be able to, because they're expecting him to be at the top. And I think if you finish first or second or third, you're then entitled to a super license, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And obviously he was nowhere near that, so bye-bye Ticktum. So I think O'Ward could be, a one to see around. But then again, don't be surprised if he was to come into Toro Rosso, then go about a season later, and then come back 2 years later, replacing whoever. So I think Red Bull do need that consistency if they do want to be back to the glory days of
and that's definitely what they want.
Without a shadow of a doubt, especially with Honda. The potential's there. The potential is definitely there.
Okay.
They just need
consistency. That win was definitely what they needed. Definitely,
absolutely.
To show that the team that they are. Yeah. But and also as well, I don't know how much I don't know what everyone thinks about that. So obviously, leave in the comments about this. Is Mercedes have won all 8 races this season. Red Bull, so Mercedes won all 8 races. Ferrari are the ones that. So Charles Leclerc's been on a pole position twice, and it's been like that where you thought that Ferrari would win the race. Charles Leclerc should have won the race twice, and Sebastian Vettel got so much pressure to win the race. Red Bull or Max Verstappen is thought to win the race, but I don't know. There's been more buzz about Ferrari, and then before Ferrari, Red Bull come in. So is that kind of like a bit of a? Is that more of an insult to Ferrari, or better for Red Bull that they are definitely back? Also as well on Sunday, I just wanted to say, the Honda representatives, some of the people from Japan and things like that, Honda Sport were there, and it really was incredible just to see how how excited they were, because as Jordan said, it was Budapest 2006 with Jenson Button. That was Honda's last win, so it was very special for them. Obviously, going through the times of McLaren, Honda, and it must have been really painful, but. The big word that we just said in there was, Red Bull, they're not glued on with, their driver, their sustainable kind of second drivers.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be on that have-a-go mentality. And that's definitely been said. That's definitely proven for one driver, and the driver who wants to get to what Sebastian Vettel was in 2013, which is a world champion. And that, of course, is the number 1 driver, the 6-time winner the six-time Grand Prix winner and the winner of the 2019 Austrian Grand Prix, sorry, which is Max Verstappen. Now, he's been at Red Bull for a good few years now. He came in, obviously, 2016, replacing Danny Kvyat. He has wanted to win the World Championship since he came in, and all that buzz that I've just been saying, and the buzz that was around when he came in, was that he was going to be a future world champion. We said that he would be at some point. Will he be with Red Bull? That's a big debate, but it's kind of a strange situation because, as I just used that stretched your arms mentality, you've got one driver, Pierre, but replace Pierre with whoever, and they're going to be like the person who they will have to kind of hold on to, whether it be Alexander Albon or whether it be another driver from Toro Rosso or anyone from the Red Bull Junior program if anyone's left. But Max Verstappen is the one that they want to keep pushing forward. They're pulling Pierre, or they're going to pull a second driver. They want to push Max. They want to push Max as far as he'll go. And the thing is, how far will he go with Red Bull? And are Red Bull actually helping him, as Jordan said? Are Red Bull actually helping him? Because if they're going to be putting pressure on Pierre and looking to replace him and replacing Max's teammate, is that actually helping Max? And how far is Max actually going to go with this team that has got this mentality of, oh, this driver's doing badly, replace him? Because Max wants to win the World Championship, and is I know it's been said before, but is he better going to another team, especially when Red Bull are just mixed up like that? It's really, really a very strange situation. You've got one driver who wants to excel, which is Max, and you've got other drivers who obviously, of course, they want to excel as well, but they're not achieving the same as Max. It's a really strange situation. So, guys, make sure to leave in the comment section what you think about that. How far do you think Max will actually go with Red Bull? How do you think the situation's actually getting on? And what's actually happening over there? In my personal opinion, I think Max is suited to Red Bull. The team is very much built around him. We said this all the way back in the preview, the 2019 preview show that we did all the way back in January. We said that Red Bull are based around Max Verstappen, and Max Verstappen has actually even built the team. It's almost like his wish is their command. That's a bad thing. Like whatever he says will happen in that team.
When Max says jump, Red Bull say how high. That's
it. Yeah. So it's very much his team. He will really not want to kind of get involved in that, but I don't think he will be able to go as far with this kind of mentality when the team are they're trying to be behind him, but they're trying to focus on their second driver. Or maybe that's even bad for Pierre because all the attention's going on Max. But that shouldn't be the case because that's not the case at Mercedes and Ferrari and all the other teams on the grid. So Jordan, I don't really know what to make of this because Verstappen has got totally different goals to what Pierre wants and almost what Red Bull are, they're fixated on, which is replacing Pierre and getting a strong second driver. Max just wants to drive out on his own. He wants to win a championship with Red Bull. And in this situation, I mean, is that actually going to happen? Are Red Bull strong enough at current time to get Max to a World Championship position, what he wants, especially if they're going to be fixated on replacing him? Because next year it could be Verstappen and Albon, and it could be exactly the same position. And then in 2021 it could be Verstappen and Kvyat again. And in 2022 it could be Verstappen and you.
Me. Wow, that'll be good.
So it's I mean, so what do you think? How far do you think Verstappen's actually going to get with Red Bull at the current situation they are?
I don't think Red Bull are ready yet. I don't think that they have the car, the package, as of yet. Maybe not for a couple of years, but I think Verstappen will be considering the fact that he does know that he has the ability to go on to win a world championship. He is quick enough and he is good enough. There was a lot of question marks around whether he could do that or not, whether he had the the consistency, the patience, or the ability to go on all the way throughout the course of the season. Because Verstappen, one race he would be like, oh my god, the next generation of Formula One, to, Verstappen's just like amateur. Prime example, Spain 2016, won the race, the Monaco 2016, the next round, he bins it in qualifying, then bins it in the race. So, that consistency, and we were left, again, like questioning, just going, okay, is Verstappen really ready for it? But this season, as like I said before, he has definitely shown that, he has definitely matured, He's shown the ability that he does, that we all know that he has, and he isn't going to be a pushover in the world of Formula One. He's had battles with drivers already, Esteban Ocon, especially in Brazil 2018, and then, of course, this little battle with Charles Leclerc, which, just quickly, that's going to be a really good battle in the future. That's going to be...
Oh, yes.
You've just been given a glimpse into the future of Formula One. I just hope that they don't go to the same team, because I want two different teams and two drivers going at it like hammer and tong. But if they are, then, nevertheless. But anyways, those two will definitely be up there battling for world championships in the future, hopefully with different teams. So yes, Max Verstappen will be thinking they're going, right, okay, I'm at Red Bull, a very secure team with history, 4 world championships in both drivers and constructors. I've been here since day dot, I've got a really good team around me. Do I take the risk and stay with Red Bull? Because I think it is a risk staying Red Bull, especially now. Do I risk it and go to Red Bull? Or do I play it kind of easy and go off to likes of Ferrari and Mercedes? If you look at the situation, Mercedes going, will they take me on? Who will I replace? Do I want to be teammates with Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon potentially? Because obviously Mercedes, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? Like, we don't know the Mercedes situation yet. We kind of know Ferrari's stamina where they're going to be. We know Leclerc and Vettel are going to be there next season. I don't care what anyone says about Vettel retiring. That's not going to happen. There will be Vettel and Leclerc. Yes, Vettel and Leclerc, sorry. I thought I said Vettel and Sebastian there. Vettel and Leclerc, I thought I said that.
What a partnership.
Exactly.
Are they also managed by Bottas as well?
Probably. I think
by Sebastian
Bottas is
and
managed by
Vettel?
Bottas, and Bottas also manages Sebastian, and he also manages Vettel. Anyway, so yeah. There's like all the Ferraris, drivers. They're secure. So will he look beyond 2021? Will he looking at that? I think that's where Verstappen will be looking at. Because there was a rumour recently where it said that Verstappen had this sort of clause. Funny enough, right, it actually came at the Austrian Grand Prix. The first time I heard about it was apparently this clause where Verstappen, if he wins a Grand Prix, it triggers this little clause in his contract where he's able to leave during the course of the season, which then led to loads of speculation about him going to Mercedes during the season, which I thought was absolutely bizarre. And then potentially next season, which Christian Horner confirmed that all drivers have some kind of clause in their contract, but we know that Verstappen will be there in 2020. It's 2021 where you got to look at, and for me, that's when another big change will happen, because what's going to happen with Hamilton? His contract is up. Bottas, his contract is up. Vettel, his contract is up. Obviously, Verstappen's is as well. Red Bull will do everything in their power to keep Verstappen. They will promise him the world. They'll be kissing his feet. They'll be cleaning his whatever. They'll be worshipping him, giving him everything, giving him a car, if you like, a plane, whatever, the world, money, to keep him at Red Bull, because nobody
has power over the team.
No.
I mean,
No,
maybe Michael Schumacher had as much influence as Max did, but yeah,
because Schumacher brought in Jean Todt, he brought in Ross Brawn, he brought in loads of other people to build this super team to be able to go off and dominate Formula One. Verstappen doesn't have that; he just has his dad. So, as far as I'm aware, you might know some people, but I don't think he doesn't have that same influence. And plus, it's a totally different sport anyway, so I don't think that will ever happen again. So I think Verstappen will, so he will be considering his options from 2021. And do I think he needs to leave Red Bull to win a championship? Probably. I don't know, but I would say at this moment in time, I'll say probably. We'll probably say this question again. Maybe next season at some point, and then when things really get hotted up, because Verstappen is going to be there next season, no doubt about that. But 2021, big one. That could be the year Verstappen does win his first world championship. Potentially, many more. But I can't say it definitely won't be this season, and it can't be next season. But for me, I don't know if he has to move teams to win a world championship. Obviously, let us know your opinions in the comment section below. So, Lyle, what's your thoughts on Verstappen as a whole? Do you believe he can win the championship at Red Bull, or do you think he will have to move teams?
Yeah, I mean, just what we've said in the first part. I just think that Verstappen doesn't really kind of need all of that headache. He's really the only person in that team, pulling them forward and getting to the point where it might be good, being the first driver and the guy who is kind of showing up, his teammate.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not getting that support, and as I just said, Mercedes and Ferrari, they do support that. I just think at one point it'll get to the point where he will question it.
Yeah.
But you know, every time I keep thinking about Verstappen in this situation, it keeps bringing us back to his teammate decision. You know, as you said, you know, Verstappen says jump, Red Bull say how high. Verstappen says, you know, I need a better teammate. And instead of Red Bull looking to fix them, they say instead of Red Bull trying to fix Pierre Gasly, they'll try and replace him. But nobody is going to be perfect. Nobody's going to jump into that season straight away. I mean, can you think, apart from Lewis Hamilton, guys, and leave this in the comment section, don't say Lewis Hamilton because I've just said it, because he had an amazing start to his career, 2007, China for the title, amazing. But there's been, in the modern era, in the 2000s, there's been very few drivers, almost none, who have come into a team who they have won a world championship with and just dominated. Sebastian Vettel came into, he didn't dominate Toro Rosso, he won one race, but then he came into Red Bull. You know, 2009, yeah, was a good season. You know, he got his first win, he got Red Bull's first win in China, but it wasn't great for him. 2010 as well, the start, he was spinning off, he was crashing. I think it was David Coulthard and Martin Brundle, one of the two, called him the crash kid. And yes, of course, he went on to win the World Championship at the end of that year, so he had a bit of a better start. But it's like nobody comes in and just dominates. Nobody comes in and, you know, takes the bull by the horns, gives someone a chance. And we haven't really mentioned train places that much in depth in this episode, even though we have mentioned it. And that's just something that they didn't give Danny Kvyat. But like Jordan just said there about the podium at China, that was one of them things I just couldn't get my head round. You know, if you get a podium, that's amazing. He got a podium before Ricciardo did in 2016. So why would you replace him? And there's no point in replacing Pierre Gasly. It'll just create more confusion, more chaos, more problems at Red Bull. The third team, and considered as one of the best teams in Formula One, and that's just not what they need. Verstappen, he really runs that team. I would like to see him win with Red Bull. I think it definitely suits him. You know, he's been in that program obviously since he was a kid. He broke onto the scene in when he was 16 in the Red Bull Junior program. It's really suited him. Obviously, he went through all that, you know, change, and it just showed how much they actually wanted him in the team in 2016. You know, getting rid of another driver for him.
Yeah.
I would love to see Verstappen win with Red Bull, but yes, I mean, it's getting close. It's getting very close to the point where Verstappen will turn around to Helmut Marko or someone like that, or manager Bottas, who also manages Bottas.
Yes.
And he'll turn around to Bottas. He'll turn around to manager Bottas, who also manages Helmut Marko and Amsterdam. But he'll turn around to someone at Red Bull and he'll say, right, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
Because he's had 6 wins so far, which is good, but that's not championship winning level.
No.
He's only had 1 win so far. That's good, but that's not championship level. It's good, but it's not quite Carlin. It's not quite Carlin F2. That was a great. That worked really, really.
If you said it first time, it would have been funnier.
Yes, it would have. Thank you, John. And yeah, so Verstappen, I'd love to see him win it with Red Bull, but yeah, I'd get to a point where it's getting very close, where he'll turn around and he's going to challenge the team. In terms of who else will move, I'm not going to really go into that, but yes, no. Leclerc is definitely going to be his contender. We've seen in the Mercedes rivalry. Let's say that, you know, when Sebastian Vettel does retire, Max gets into that team, and into Ferrari battle wouldn't be too bad to see. But yes, of course, the big thing is Leclerc and Max are going to be a massive battle, a massive pairing to see in the future. I've got to say, Austria was really the first glimpse of what we've been waiting for a long time to see, and we said that in the preview show of 2019. It was really, really special. Austria, one of the best races ever, and yeah. Especially after France as well. I was just saying to this Jordan before camera. Especially after France, one of the worst races of 2019. It's like we went from the worst to the best. It was incredible. So yes, Verstappen, I'd love to see him at Red Bull win the World Championship, but I don't know at this time, especially not with all this going on. But final thing about Pierre Gasly, I've just bought his shirt, man. So don't replace him, because I've just bought a shirt.
Exactly.
It's got a signature on everything.
Don't let
so
Lau
don't do
waste
that.
his money.
Yes, don't do that. But yeah, I like him. He's a good driver, and it's still consistent. You know, 6th place in the World Championship, 7th place in Austria, 4th place in China with the fastest lap. So yes, it's good. He's doing an okay job, and just let him progress even more. Yeah. It's 9 races in. We're heading in round 10 at Silverstone. You know, give him time. Give him a bit more breathing room than he needs. But yeah, Red Bull. I mean, sometimes you just think it's an amazing team, but it's got its problems. With Verstappen on one hand, and obviously Pierre Gasly and their situation on the other. Anyway, guys, that's the end of our episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please check out our Austria content, the F1 debate show last week, where John talks about how F1 should be made better again. And then on the Sunday, boy, was it made better again with the race. He reviews that race, and as I say, it currently stands, it's our highest viewed video, so please go and check that out if you haven't already. We're getting very close to Silverstone. Obviously, we'll be releasing plans very, very soon. Obviously, stay tuned with us to see some big content, including our vlog for the British Grand Prix. Should be really, really special. Obviously, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the F1 Debate Show for our content in 2019. And until next time, guys, we will see you later.
We'll see you later.